this edition of the Chicago Sports Mayhem talk show. I'm your host, Andrew Scheid, and I'm sorry I forgot to put my lower third in today, so it'll be in next week. But I'm Andrew Mighty Man Scheid, the host of the Sports Mayhem talk show, and we have transferred over from the Prime Coverage Sports Network channel to our own channel here on YouTube. Very thrilled about that. Have a lot more creative control over the show now, as you will see in today's episode. Um, just very excited to be here, guys. Very excited to be talking Chicago sports with all the loyal Chicago sports fans out there. As you can tell, I got my White Sox gear on, and I'm ready to start talking some sports, and I'm ready to start having some fun. Um, Now, the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the Chicago White Sox because boy, have they been on a tear lately. And when I say they've been on a tear, I say they've been on. They're not in a big winning streak like 15, 16 games, nothing like that. But they're playing good baseball to the sense where they're winning series. Now I say that a second time because that's what's crucial to the game of baseball and, in my opinion, making it to the World Series. I don't care if you have the longest winning streak of your season as a team and it's only at 7 games. But in my winning series, yes, the White Sox are. I mean, we look at it, they've won now with taking down the Royals series. They've won 5 of their last 6 series, everybody. So it's nothing to scoff at. Really playing great baseball. But the one thing that I really want to talk about, and you know what the fun part is, guys, of being a White Sox fan, but also being the sports pundit that I am, um, you know, it's just fun to watch. It's fun to watch all these um all these different guys having a bunch of fun. But how are the White Sox winning all these series? How are the White Sox winning all these games? Well, yes, and I'm saying over 50% of the time, they are scoring by the long ball, by the home run. Now, I mean, they're living off the long ball, as it says it right there, and they're having a bunch of fun at the plate. And you can't ask for anything more out of a team, right? I mean, when you originally get into a sport, you get into it because you want to have fun, right? Unless you have a family member going to you. Oh, you're not allowed to take that just as fun because that's not what, you know, we do. I had one of those family members, but I always loved it. I ended up loving every sport I played, guys. So, you know, that's the big thing with this. You want to have fun playing the sport, and that's the one thing I think that's crucial with this Southside club here in Chicago is they are having fun each and every time they go out onto that field, whether it's home or away. They're just out there having fun. And the one thing, and I've said this in so many shows before, they are a young ball club, extremely young when you stop to think about it. It's really fun to say, hey, we weren't looked at as being a contender this year, but hey, we're 21-21. We're 500 for the first time in May since 2022. Yes, that is right. The White Sox have not hit 500 in May since the 2022 season. And when you look at some of the names that were on that 2022 squad, you're like, oh, where are all these guys now? Like Liam Hendricks, and Luis Robert, we obviously know where he's at, but this is, and I've said this so many times again, this is a new ball club. But I digress again. But is it sustainable? Is it sustainable for this club to keep hitting home runs at this pace? Because let's be honest, they have a bunch of home runs, and they ain't joking around. Um, when I say that, let's take a look at this graphic, everyone. When I say that, I mean Southside Hitmen is kind of a new moniker that three Chicago White Sox players have gotten. The names of Munetaka Murakami, Colson Montgomery, and Miguel Vargas. Why have they gotten that moniker in some circles? Well, Murakami is now not leading, but he's number 3 in the MLB with 15 home runs in the season. Colson Montgomery now has 11 home runs, and Miguel Vargas has 9. Now, when you add it up, guys, that is a total of 35 home runs, and that's just 3 players on this White Sox ball club. Over half the time, over 50% of the time, this White Sox club is scoring off of the home run. And it's just fun to see. If you're a White Sox fan, to see that scoreboard blow up every night is just amazing when you're at home. And like I said, to see these guys having fun is just amazing in itself. They just enjoy what they're doing out there. They're not worried about what people say. And we hear it all the time. They never feel like they're out of a game. They never feel like they're out of a game. And I say that with a lot of love and affection to my Southside team. Now, there are times that they can be playing better, like Munetaka Murakami, who we just saw in that graphic. I would like to see his strikeouts get a little lower. Now, I will say this, and some people might disagree with me. I'm okay with Munetaka Murakami having a 20-25% strikeout rate if that means 60 to 65 home runs on the season. I would be completely okay with that. That's me talking as a fan. Now, as a sports broadcaster in my own right, I think that his strikeout rate does need to go down if he wants to be looked at as one of the top guys in this league. And right now, he's making a very strong case for AL Rookie of the Year as well as a League Rookie of the Year if he continues at that pace. Now, like I said, the one thing I think teams are seeing out of Mooney at this point is his strikeout rate, and that might be a little bit concerning, but I don't think that we're going to see him striking out as much as the season progresses. I think he's going to start figuring out what pitches to lay off, what not to do all the time. And sorry, lost my train of thought. He should know by midsummer what to lay off, what not to swing at, because let's be honest, he's still swinging at some low ones. He's still swinging high outside of the zone. But as a rookie player coming into the MLB, this is one of the best rookies in terms of plate vision I've seen in a while, and that's because, let's not forget, this isn't the start to Munetaka Murakami's professional career. He played a long time in Japan. He knows what it's like to be under the lights. He knows what it's like to have thousands of people screaming in the stands. He's no stranger to that, which is why I think, especially, he's got a good shot at AL Rookie of the Year, especially if he continues at the pace he's on. And yeah, the White Sox are living off the long ball, but is it sustainable? We know that the rate is a White Sox or a hitter-friendly ballpark. Excuse me. It doesn't matter if it's the White Sox or opposing team coming in. It is a hitter-friendly ballpark, and as it warms up here in Chicago, it's just going to get more and more lively there at the rate. So I'm very curious to see. Like I said, Munetaka Murakami has 15 home runs on the season. That is third on the list behind Kyle Schwarber and Aaron Judge. Schwarber having 17 and Judge having 16 on the year. But don't look now, folks. I mean, Mooney's one of those guys that could get those 2 home runs in the next week and be right back up on the top. I mean, he's one of those players. I think there's a lot of teams kicking themselves in the butt right now because they passed on Mooney. Because let's be honest here, guys. Let's take a look at this. 15 home runs, guys. 15 home runs. You're looking at that, and I would think that, yes, there are teams kicking themselves in the butt because there were teams that Mooney's camp reached out to and said, hey, would you be interested in Mooney? And there were teams that said, oh, we have no interest whatsoever. And one of those teams saying to themselves now, yeah, I mean that's a good way to think. What are these teams thinking or saying to themselves now that passed on Mooney? That is the one thing I want to know. Um, I know as Southside fans, we are excited to see what this team can do. Um, like I said, you know they're a 500 team after being at a 1-5 start. I think being at 21-21 on May 14th is not bad. And yes, this is recorded, everybody. I'm sorry, but welcome into episode 12 of the Chicago Sports Mayhem talk show. But yeah, here, if you could be at 500 on May 14th, at 21-21, and I mean, the sky's the limit. And let's not forget that the AL Central, guys, is a lot tighter than it's been in recent years. Uh, I think we've seen, as I like to call them, the Minnesota Twinkies, kind of, I don't want to say fall off a cliff, but not be playing as well as they have been in the past couple of years. Detroit, is starting to get back into things. Cleveland, they're the ones really in the thorn in the White Sox side right now. But if you were to look at me to start the season after that 1-5 start and said, hey, you're going to be at 500 in second place in your division in the middle of May, I would have said, what drugs are you taking, buddy? Because this team has still got a lot of work to do. And let's make no mistake about that either. I digress. That, they still have a lot of work to do. And it's not going to be easy. They're not in an easy division. They're not in an easy league in the American League. There are a lot of good teams in there, a la the New York Yankees. But do the White Sox have a shot to take their division? As it stands right now, yes, they do. I wholeheartedly believe they do, and I believe if they can stay healthy once they get Kale Teal back, who is down on a rehab assignment in Charlotte, finally, I think they're just going to get that much better and just have that much more fun at the plate. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see what this White Sox ball club can do now that we're just a quarter of a way through the season. And there's still a lot more to go. I mean, we're not even in June yet, and they're already past 20 wins. I mean, we didn't even get 20 wins until June the past couple of years. I mean, they didn't get to 20 wins until June the past couple of years. So this is already a really, really amazing start, in my opinion, for the South Side of Chicago, and a lot more, in my opinion, to come. When we come back, we are going to be talking about their counterparts on the North Side and how they have just not really been dominating their league, but kind of just staying ahead of the pack. We'll see if the Cubs can maintain it, though. That's going to be the big question. When we come back, we are going to be talking Cubs and what they need to do to stay in their division race. I'm Andrew, Mighty Man Shide, and we will be back after this quick break. And welcome back in, everybody, to this episode of the Chicago Sports Mayhem Talk Show. I'm your host, Andrew Mighty Man Scheid, and before we went to that quick little break, I teased that we were going to be talking about the Chicago Cubs and what they need to do if they want to stay in the division race. Well, can they stay in the division race? Are they playoff bound at this pace? Yes. But here's some things with the Chicago Cubs that have me concerned. And this is not the Chicago White Sox fan in me trying to make fun of the Chicago Cubs. Even though they're not my team, they never were my team. Even if you ask my mom, she'll say differently. I don't care. Um, I still have to give them props because they are playing good baseball right now. Now, when they started the season, there were a lot of Cubs fans that were worried. Rightfully so. They were not playing good to start the season. Uh, you lost Seiya Suzuki for a little bit there. He's finally back, doing Seiya things. Um, but yeah, this Cubs team, let's not forget, is in a division that has been ruled, and yes, I will say that again, has been ruled by the Milwaukee Brewers the past 3 years. And yes, they made it to the playoffs last year, made it all the way to the division, and got knocked out by who? The the Milwaukee Brewers. I apologize, everyone. Um, so when I say this, I mean, they just really have to watch themselves. They can't be winning 6 games here, then losing another 4, then I win another 7, then I lose another 6. I mean, to me, that's not a recipe for success, especially if you want to be that postseason club that I know Cubs fans want the Cubs to be, and I know that the Cubs can be if they play their cards right. And yes, this is a White Sox fan saying this. I think the Cubs have a decent chance to make the postseason. Now, I will say this. Milwaukee has not been playing to the level they were a couple years ago. So is the division up for grabs for Chicago? Yes, it is. The Chicago Cubs can still win the NL Central, but I digress in saying it's still early. And to my cohort, Derek Geyer at WRMN AM 1410 Fox Sports, Big Top Sports, he always says that, and that's who I got that from because he's kind of been teaching me the ways a little bit, um, as well as a bunch of other people have. I mean, anyway, um, yeah. I mean, this Cubs team, there's just a lot going on, and what is the big thing, for the Cubs right now? Well, their pitching staff is just gone. And when I say that, you have got 10 pitchers. Count it right, people. 10 pitchers on the IL for the Chicago Cubs. Now, a lot of people say, okay, well, that's when you just go to your bullpen. I mean, go to your minor league system. Get guys from there, call them up. Well, they've done that, and those guys have gone down. But this Cubs team is doing a really, really good job at just getting wins. I mean, and I think that's the biggest thing with all this is they're getting wins, and they're also on win streaks when I say that. And the Cubs, since the start of the season, have had count them everybody, 10-game win streaks. Okay? Can they keep this pace going all season long? Well, I think they can. I really do. I don't see there being an issue. Once they get some of that pitching staff back, I think it's just going to be even better in terms of all that. Now, here's what I'll say to this. Um, The Cubs, yes, they're good at hitting winning streaks. They're good at doing all this, but I think the pitching needs to be addressed. It needs to be looked at. Um, and I'm just gonna throw this out there because I've heard this in certain circles. Let's not forget, everybody, that Freddie Peralta is on the last year of his deal with the New York Mets. So, is it plausible for the Chicago Cubs, either at the trade deadline, which I know is a while out, or even before the trade deadline, to try to make a run at Freddie Peralta? I think, in my opinion, I will say this because I just caught this information on a whim one day. I think they need to try to go after some pitching because you don't have any. The Cubs have no pitching. And, I always tell my mom, who's a diehard Cubs fan, that, that they just need to figure it out. Go to the minor league system, like I said earlier, and pull guys up, or, do anything like that. But it's not out of the realm of the possibility to look at the free agent market, look who's out there that might be on the trade block, call some teams, call around, see who's out there, maybe get some guys off the free agent or trade market even before the trade deadline. I would call the New York Mets and say, hey, Freddie Peralta is on his last year of his contract. This is just my opinion. Maybe we can work something out here. And let's not forget, Freddie Peralta worked with Craig Counsell out in Milwaukee. So they already have that chemistry, and that chemistry is already there. So I don't think it would be a bad fit for Freddie Peralta in Chicago. And like I said, this team is just, starting to heat it up in ways. They started a series currently against the Atlanta Braves, which is not going to be an easy thing for the Cubs. They've gone up against some good teams. They were able to take a game from the Los Angeles Dodgers, which we all know is not an easy thing to do. They're kind of at the top of the league when it comes to just one of the best teams out there right now. But yeah, this Cubs team, I think they have a really good shot at taking their division. I think if they stay healthy, get their pitching back, and get back to what they know they can be, I don't think there's going to be any issues on the north side of Chicago. Now, guys need to stay healthy, and that's a key thing. This is a grueling season, everyone. It's 162 games spread out between three and a half months, give or take. So it's not an easy thing to look at and be like, hey, we can just do whatever or play as hard as we want because this is like a football season. We only have to play 16 games, one game a week. No, that's not how baseball is. Baseball is more grueling. Guys have to watch themselves a lot more. And injuries are more prevalent, I think, in some ways in baseball because of how long and how much you play on a regular basis. Now, not to say that you don't get injured in football because you do, but I think baseball, being as long as it is, when a player goes down with an injury, it's just that much more, I don't want to say crippling to a team, but it has to make them work a little harder when you don't have your number one, number two, or even number three guy out there because they're all on the injured list. And when I say that, it's like I'm trying to think, guys, how the Cubs are even winning games at this point because everyone's injured. I mean, pretty soon you're going to be putting, Ballesteros out on the mound to pitch for the Cubs. Like we saw early on in the season for the White Sox. We saw Reese McGuire go out. Catcher for the Chicago White Sox and pitch an inning for the White Sox, and like did better than some of the relief pitchers out there. So, uh, does Reese McGuire, even though he's no longer kind of with the team, does he have a pitching future? Nah, I don't think so. That was just something fun to put in there, guys. But yeah, both. I mean, it's fun to watch baseball in Chicago right now. To put it plain and simple, it's fun to watch baseball in Chicago. And I'm really excited to see where both these seasons go, where both these seasons could end up, because the division isn't always where it could end. You could get a wild card spot. You could, the division is not the only way to make the playoffs. To me, and we've heard former White Sox manager Ozzie Guillen say that probably the easiest way to make the playoffs is that division win. And he's probably not wrong. And I would have to agree with him when he said that too. I think the easiest way to make the playoffs is through that division win, but it's not the only way to get in the playoffs. So it's going to be fun to see where both of these Chicago teams go throughout the rest of the season. I'm really excited to keep everyone here on Chicago Sports Mayhem updated on that. And we're going to do a lot more fun going forward. We're going to have some highlights coming up. We're going to be doing a lot better with this show going forward. I'm really excited to show you guys a lot of special things coming for this show. And maybe in a week or two, we're going to have a special announcement for everyone out there in the Sports Mayhem universe. But I want to thank everyone who joined me for this episode of Sports Mayhem. Cannot wait to do an episode for you guys next week. Yeah, and just I'm gonna drop my little wisdom. If there's anything out there that you want to do in your life, and you've had people tell you, well, you can't do that. That's not something you could do. I want you to look at them and pay them no attention, because if you can do whatever you put your mind to in this earth. And if there's anyone out there who's telling you otherwise, they're toxic, and get them out of your life. That's just my little piece of wisdom to end the episode. I want to thank everyone for joining me here for Chicago Sports Mayhem Talk Show. I am your host, Andrew Mighty Man Scheid. We will see you next week, where we will be talking some Bulls updated news. They got a new VP, Vice President of Basketball Operations, and Bryson Graham. We're going to be doing an update on how the White Sox and Cubs are doing. Plus, the Chicago Fire, McDonald's Park on the south side. That's all coming up in the next episode of Chicago Sports Mayhem. Hope to see everyone there. Catch everybody later.